Maybe some of you remember Alizée, the French pop sensation who captivated audiences worldwide in the early 2000s with her sweet voice, youthful energy, and enchanting presence. Her breakout single Moi Lolita became an instant hit, and she quickly became a symbol of femininity in the form of the Lolita-Like Maiden Archetype. An innocent yet seductive young woman whose charms lies in her playful innocence and unspoken sensuality. And I selected Alizée as the representative and example for the maiden Lolita-like archetype of femininity for this video, because she is the perfect example that comes to my mind that embodied this very attractive blend of youthful femininity, subtle sensuality and effortless grace. A combination which is maybe one of the most difficult to find. And of course we will take a closer look on what you and we, as modern women at any age, can learn from her feminine energy. Start with the characteristic or point number one. What is the Lolita-like maiden archetype about? The combination of innocence and seduction. So the Lolita-like archetype, epitomized by Alizée, especially of course in her earlier years, it is a delicate dance between innocence and sensuality. So it is about exuding a youthful charm that is both pure and seductive, but without trying to be. So I see here a very big difference to the femininity type that, for example, Marilyn Monroe embodies. Because sometimes with Marilyn, you could see that she's really trying. But with Alizée, she is absolutely not trying hard. The way she captivated her audience with just a single look or a gesture was almost as if she was unaware of the power that she possessed. So here are some examples. In the video for the very known song Moi Lolita, she is portrayed as a young woman who is playful, full of curiosity and yet undeniably alluring. Her innocent expression and her smile had a magnetic quality, and they were drawing attention without relying on overt sensuality. Also, her physical appearance and movement, but we will come to that later, was very soft and fluid, which made her seem both accessible but mysterious at the same time. What can we take away from that for ourselves? First, embrace your youthful spirit, no matter what age you are. And I can tell you from my own experience that this youthful spirit is something very attractive. So it is important that you retain your youthful playfulness and curiosity, at least sometimes. Be open to new experiences, explore your creativity, and never be afraid to also embody a sense of innocence, even when you're older. The second tip is balance innocence with awareness. So like Alizée, modern women can learn to project this kind of innocence without being naive. And the confidence that Alizée's feminine archetype shows does not come from being overly sexual or sensual, but rather it simply comes from being aware of your own charm and embracing it effortlessly. Point number two, the subtlety and mystery in Alizée's movement and behavior. Alizée's femininity wasn't about big gestures or aggressive body language. Instead, her allure was rooted in subtlety. Her movements were soft, graceful, and often accompanied by a soft smile or a tilt of the head. Basically, those little subtle gestures that say a lot without saying a word. And this subtlety, because this is what subtlety often does, created kind of an aura of mystery. This mystery that we also know from women such as Monica Bellucci, but who are a totally different type. So what they have in common is the subtlety that creates mystery. And that, of course, makes a woman very captivating. Now let's look at some examples. In her live performances, Alizée would often fluidly move across the stage. Her gestures always delicate and unhurried. She was never overtly animated or aggressive as some other pop stars or singers. Instead, her energy was kind of calm. She exuded a calm confidence and playfulness, making her seem both innocent and enigmatic. Her facial expressions often conveyed emotions, yes, but without overly displaying them. So what she often used was simply a soft look or maybe a raised eyebrow, and that really communicated. What we as modern or now today's women can take away from her femininity, tip number 1, cultivate a soft body language. So this is really a key takeaway. You don't have to be loud and aggressive and super expressive if this is first not your style, and second, you kind of feel attracted of this soft type of femininity that we are talking about here, and you would like to embody that more. Soften your body language. Number 1. Sometimes the most effective way to command attention is through small and graceful gestures. A subtle look, a gentle turn of the head. Practice this a little bit. Use a soft smile sometimes. That can really create a big impact. And tip number 2 for you, master the art of mystery, but in your own way. So depending on what kind of type you are. And now we move on to point number 3. The power of playful femininity. So here it's about playfulness. I have already talked about playful femininity in a video that I made about Fran Fine, the nanny. But Alizée embodied a totally different type and still has this playfulness in her, and now we will look a little bit closer on what it is. To my view, Alizée's femininity, especially this youthful femininity, was built on the foundation of playfulness. So her demeanor was never forced. Instead, it was natural and joyful. This playful femininity is one of the key aspects of the maiden or Lolita-like type. It's an innate sense of joy and freedom. And this is both innocent and enchanting. I know women who have this exact innocence and playfulness and youthful femininity even in older age. So it is not really a matter of youth, but of course it is easier to kind of embody that when you are younger. Now let's look at some examples. One of my favorite songs and videos or performances of Alizée is the one that she is doing for Jean et Marre. Alizée showed us such a carefree and playful femininity, and I think that she really charmed the audience and millions of people who watched this performance because of how she interacted in that specific video. So her attitude was so carefree, playful, with those dance moves that were very flirtatious but not overly sexual. And she really embodied the essence of femininity through those playful but graceful movements. Her facial expressions often reflected a sense of mischief and lightheartedness, which kind of made her seem approachable and fun rather than distant and overly serious. What we can take away from that example? Tip number 1. Embrace playfulness. So, life is too short to take everything too seriously sometimes. That's why I would recommend it to embrace your playful side and laugh often. Be spontaneous sometimes, because a playful attitude really makes you much more approachable and attractive. And it strongly enhances your feminine charm. And the second tip is balance fun with elegance. A difficult task. But Alizée did that perfectly. So you can be playful without compromising grace. So like Alizée, try to sometimes incorporate joyful movements when you are, for example, dancing or just moving around while maintaining a sense of poise and composure. How is that possible? We see also other examples who mastered that. For example, Audrey Hepburn. Because when you have the right posture and a graceful, poised way of moving already, then you can be playful and you can be sensual and you won't lose this elegance. But for that you of course need a stable foundation. And you can learn that on my channel. I did a lot of videos about that and much more will come. So if you are not yet subscribed, please click the notification bell and the subscribe button. And you will see me again. Now we come to another very interesting characteristic, and it is emphasizing sensuality without objectifying oneself. Another difficult task of femininity that Alizée mastered. Again, perfectly. One of the most compelling aspects of Alizée's femininity is how she managed being so sensual without objectifying herself. And most of the women celebrities that we know, they kind of have a hard time with that. It was kind of woven into her voice, her gaze, and in her graceful movements. Never over the top, always subtle and gentle. Her sensuality seemed like an extension of her personality, rather than something that she performed or exaggerated to get attention. There are also some examples for that. And one example, we will take again the video of Moi Lolita, in which she plays like a seductress, a young seductress, in a playful but confident manner. And of course the text or the lyrics are about that, but she delivered those in a manner that feels light-hearted, even cheeky, rather than overtly sexualized. And her performances always involved very fluid and natural movements that conveyed sensuality, yes, but they were never vulgar. She remained in control of her image. What's the modern takeaway for us? Tip number 1, confidence without overexposure. Very important. Embrace your sensuality without feeling the need to flaunt it too much. I think this is something that the French women in general are very good in. So it is about true sensuality. That is about confidence and being comfortable in your own skin. I think this is how you can achieve that. And another tip is to use your presence and not just your appearance. So like Alizée, we, our modern women, can project sensuality through many things, apart from how they dress or their looks, through their voice, through their movements, through their gaze, without solely relying on your physical appearance. And now we come to point number 5, a voice that resonates with innocence and sensuality. Of course, as Alizée was or is a singer, she is working a lot with her voice. And Alizée's voice was of course another key element of her femininity. It was soft, sweet and youthful, but it also had a certain depth. And so it conveyed both innocence and allure. Examples. Her high and clear voice in Moi Lolita had a soft and almost ethereal quality. Listen to the song afterwards and you will recognize that. Maybe it will also bring you in a certain mood, which is also good for our own femininity. The tips here for us or for all of you would be to use your voice effectively. You can do that in different ways. I once made a video about how to have a softer voice. I think this video might be interesting to you and I will link it down below so that you can watch it afterwards, because it is suitable for all kinds of voices. And if you cultivate this softness in your voice, let your voice convey warmth, authenticity, emotion that will make you very attractive. And also I would recommend you tip number 2, to balance sweetness and depth. One can only focus on one aspect in the voice, but I think that the combination of both light and dark aspects of femininity can express both innocence and kind of complexity, which makes your voice more attractive then. Many of those women that are inspirational for us, that are icons of femininity, of different feminine archetypes, are attractive in their own way. And in the same way, you should, or I want you to develop your own individual femininity. But of course, it is wonderful to get some inspiration, and that's what my channel is here for. And we have to learn specific things and to develop. It's all about development. Alizée's femininity that is embodied through her youthful innocence, through her playful energy, through her subtle sensuality, and through her graceful presence. It really offers timeless lessons for us modern women. Her Lolita-Like Maiden Archetype shows us that femininity lies in the delicate balance between innocence and awareness, playfulness and elegance. So incorporating some of Alizée's characteristics of femininity in your daily life can help you to feel more confident, more charismatic and more magnetic. The biggest takeaway for ourselves and the biggest learning here is that sensual femininity and allure does not have to be overtly sexual, and that it is possible and very attractive to balance this kind of innocence with sensuality. And if you liked that video, I would be super happy about a thumbs up and comment down below if you know Alizée, because I'm not sure even if most of you, my viewers, still remember her, because I know that many of you are younger than my age. So let me know down below, and if you listened or saw her for the first time, also let me know what you think, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!